Obsessed Podcast. We'll be sitting down with a fresh guest each week. Someone who shares the same kayak fishing passion that runs through our veins. We're talking kayak anglers, kayak companies, lure experts. Heck, anyone who's got a story to tell about landing the big ones from a kayak. We're setting our sights on becoming the #1 kayak fishing podcast in the world. You'll get a chuckle, a grin, and hey, maybe even a belly laugh. Because we believe in the power of humor. But above all, we're here to educate and inspire. So, whether you're a seasoned kayak angler or just dipping your toes into this exhilarating world, join us on the Kayak Fishing Obsessed Podcast. It's time to reel in adventure, camaraderie, and the joy of the catch. Here's your host, Daren Wendell.
What's up, you fish freaks? Welcome to episode number 109 of the Kayak Fishing Obsessed Podcast, your ultimate source for all things kayak fishing. And if you're looking for insanely good, under-the-radar baits from elite, small batch bait makers, Dark Horse Tackle, brother. Seth, it's there, man. Check this out. Lure of the week. This guy, the Lil Digger. Check out how thick that bill is on that thing. So this is a mud bug. It says painted by, let me do some specs on this, Stoneman and Sons, and it is a run 7 to 9 feet, 3/8 of an ounce, 2.2 inches in length, 3 rattles. You guys hear that right here?
Yep.
BKK hooks, man. So coming into the fall, I will be bringing my crankbaits back out to play, and I feel like this is gonna enter into the rotation. So came in my box. Head over to darkhorsetackle.com. I've been using a bunch of their stuff, slamming on Lake Erie with their gobies, and so having a good old time.
I know we talked about it last week. I think you doubled up on your drum this week.
I've caught like 30 drum in 2 outings. Could not keep them off. I caught a bunch of walleye too on the Z-Man gobius. However, I didn't have a leader because I wasn't going for him. But every time I drag a gobius in 15 feet of water in Lake Erie, boom, snatch, ping. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like $12, like $6, $6, $6. So like, I'm done throwing the gobius. I'm done. That's an awesome lure. However, I don't want those things in the mouth of a walleye when I can't bring them in. Nonetheless, Seth, you doing good? You doing good?
Yeah,
you came on with 11 seconds to go, by the way. Everyone.
Yeah. So I'm in my wife's office here. I am making my office into more of like a podcast deal. It's already all fishing stuff, but making it more into a podcast. But I have my computer unplugged. So I plugged it back in and it was taking forever. And my mouse was dead.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I couldn't find the cord to charge it. And I'm like going back and forth because my wife needed her office. And her computer's here, so she might come in here and get it. So anyway, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to send it in my wife's office with 11 seconds left. We made it. So, yeah.
You did. You made it. And we need to be talking about the duck count here in a moment. But first, I want to bring on our guest for tonight. We're going to be talking about bass fishing secrets. More bites, more bass with the geek himself. Hank, welcome to the show, brother. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I am doing great, brother. How y'all doing?
I'm doing good. Well. No, this is fun. I actually met, I mean, of course, I've known him as a content creator, but we were down on the water iCast, and that's where I met Hank. We got to talking. And then the next morning, I wake up early, go down to McDonald's and start like posting, because that's all you do is freaking post. And then Hank and I forget your editor, your buddy. Mike walk in, and we had breakfast together. Then I
caused him to regurgitate his breakfast, because what you don't want to see is this first thing in the morning. It's just, my wife luckily wears glasses. They're not the right prescription, but
luckily.
I enjoyed our conversation. It's like the debrief of iCast in the YouTube business. So it was a good time. And the next morning, and boom, there they were. Every single morning I had breakfast.
It's like we had it time.
Yeah. It was good times.
Maybe iCast had it time for us, I guess.
Did you like iCast? How was your
I always have a good time at iCast. It's just good to go down and hang out with some people that you've gotten to know, maybe talk to over the phone or via email, and you get to go down and hang out with those folks and then meet new folks. And met a lot of good content creators, including you down there that I follow for a long time. And, it's fun. And then, at 3:00, it's happy hour. So, I'm never turning away your free beer. I mean, you tell by my figure.
All you got to do is look around and see where the long line is. And that's where,
right. That's right.
It's a good place to be.
Down at ICAST, they don't stand around the water cooler and talk. They stand around the keg.
Yep. That's how it works. No, it was a good time. I'll definitely be going again next year. Seth, maybe we'll get you in if you can make it.
Yeah, I mean, I live like right by it, so it's not a huge deal for me to make it. So if you get an extra pass or something,
Oh, you can just come in under Wendell Fishing LLC. I'll put you to work, but yeah. I'll just have like an entourage.
Oh, we got to talk about the work part. We got to talk about the work part.
Oh, you just want the free pass. I got it. Understood. Yeah. All right. So, Hank, for the last 3 weeks, so Seth has kids. They have a bunch of baby mallard ducks. And 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, there were 8.
Yeah.
Seth killed 3 by essentially freezing them to death.
Yeah.
Okay, let's not do that. And then last week he killed another one by giving it to cold of water. And so a total of 4 dead or 3 dead?
It was 2 and 1. So
2 and 1. And so I need the update. How many ducks did you kill this week, Seth?
I'm happy to report we have all 5 still living.
All right, 5 are still alive. Yeah. Come on.
And thank you. They spent their first full day outside today.
Living
in our yard, in the pool, running around the little blue pool. So they spend all day. So they're in the brooder now. They're inside, but they spend all day. So I'm trying to transition them to being used to being outside. So yeah.
What do you Duck Watch 2025? What in the world are you gonna do with these 5 mallard ducks? They're gonna fly away.
It's illegal to release them in Florida. So anyone listening, I'm not gonna release them into the wild. It's illegal. So I don't know.
What if you don't release it and they just take off? So
they're gonna be protected in my fence, Daren, and then they're gonna go to a farm. Okay.
Mallard ducks, they fly. They're just gonna fly away. You're gonna clip their wings.
We're just gonna leave it at that. They're not gonna be released.
We're gonna take them to the flyaway farm.
That's his plan for the mallard ducks. The mallards may have others.
They're going to. So anyone listening from Florida that thinks I'm going to release them, they're going to a farm.
So my question is, when did you find out this information?
While they were, before I purchased the eggs.
Oh,
I knew that. The reason you can't release them is because they don't migrate, and then they breed with resident. I'm not a duck guy. Obviously.
Yo, please keep talking. This is fun.
Yeah, right. They breed with what kind of duck is it? I don't know. Someone else will know. It's a resident of Florida duck, and then they lower their population, so it hurts the population.
Well, Utopia Outdoorsman wants to take them off your hands for you because he thinks mallards are delicious.
Yeah, they're little buddies. Yeah, so yeah, they're all alive and kicking. They're good.
All right, congratulations.
Thank you.
Seth, this is the duck dad over here. So, all right, so now that we got that out of the way, so. Duck jerky, all kinds of comments just ripping through over here. It's a lot of fun. We got 40 online tonight. I'm excited live. This thing usually goes to a couple thousand posts. So if you have not done so, it's so fun to me. I always ask you, hey, can you hit the like button? That's the only thing I want you to do. Just hit the like button. And I get done. I'm I go look and 5 likes. I was like, bro,
I know. We got
pull some tables up in here. Hank knows what I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, right? All right, so let's talk fishing right now because I have a ton of people. I have a pretty good pulse on the Wendell fishing community because I poll them every Tuesday and every Friday. And in those polls, I get anywhere from 1,000 to 3,000 votes and a smorgasbord of comments. And usually the comments are contextualized to, whatever the post and the lure or whatever it is. And everyone's like, oh, having a hard time. Oh, I can't tell you how many times I've been skunked. Oh, spring was awesome. Summer blows. Oh, it's too hot. Oh, I'm not catching a thing. Oh, it's Dinkfest. And so it's tough. It's tough goings right now for a lot of individuals across the country. So he thought I'd bring the geek himself. Probably likes to geek out on the science of fishing. And
dude, I love this time of year.
Yeah, do you? All right. See, This is perfect. Have the guy on who loves this time of year to talk to a lot of us who have struggle bus right now. hot water, 80, 90 degree waters in a lot of these places. What's the water temp where you're at, Seth?
Low 90s.
Low 90s. Hank, where are they at for you?
Low 80s.
Yep, that's where I'm at. Low 80s. Sometimes I'll hit 78, depending on
depending
where I'm
on which side of the state line I'm on. You go down to Tennessee and you see mid 80s. The Virginia side, the more highlands, Clear Lakes, low 80s.
I like it. Marty Hughes is in the comment section. Took a break away from mowing to come listen in. I just got a package from Marty in the mail. He makes these like power net heads. So I'm pretty excited about it. It's like nail weights have buttons on them. And so make it really easy to do Nico. I'm going to take him to Mosquito Lake tomorrow, Seth. Were you
I done
big
placed
winner
on Mosquito Lake?
Yeah, you placed how many years ago? A decade?
More than that, yeah. Yeah, no, it probably was a decade, 10 years ago on Mosquito Lake in Ohio. Yeah.
All the dinks that you caught are going to be 10-pounders. I'm going to go grab a few, and I'll send you some photos.
I know exactly where I caught them, too. I qualified for the National Bassmaster Champion or Bass Nation Championship from that event.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I have Marty's Nico rig that he sent me. He sent me the whole thing. You know, when people are like, oh, I'll send you bait. He sent me the bait in a package with the Z-Man already connected to the Nico rig, which is already connected to the plastic. It was like all you had to tie it on. It was all there. I was like, got it. I mean, Marty's a man. He's like a full service over here. So I'm excited to be throwing those and a bunch of smorgasbord of other things. I have the download, but we'll see how that goes. I've been pulling up a lot of drum recently and got a 1975 bass and went out in a swim jig. So that's been fun. But Hank, let's back up a little bit. All right. So for those of you who might not be familiar with Hank, I'm not sure. You've been doing this for 9 years on YouTube. Is that right?
Yeah.
Hank?
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah.
So why BassGeek, right? What drew you in such a data-driven kind of analyst of bass fishing?
Well, number one, because I'm actually a network engineer. So I'm a computer.
That's how your brain works, man.
Yeah.
You can't turn that off.
Yeah. So, I like details. Now I've tried to, over the years, I try not to go too far down the rabbit hole because, sometimes, we are talking about fish whose, brains are as big as your thumbnail and we give them way too much credit. Even though, there are some things that kind of surprises me every day about a bass, but, that's just kind of where it came from, Computer Geek, BassGeek, and, I've always enjoyed, to me, I love learning new things.
Yeah.
And I love to be able to go out. It's why I always jokingly tell people, it's why I'm such a horrible tournament angler, is because I get so bored. Most tournament anglers, they do a few things really well.
Yep.
Well, me,
Just kidding, bro. Just kidding, bro.
Like two things. I do two things.
Yeah, I just get bored of throwing that. So I'm like, okay, I know these fish are here. Let me see if I can catch one on this. Okay, they're not biting that. Let me try this. Okay, let me try it 3 different ways. And that's just that's what I enjoy about bass fishing. It's what I've always enjoyed about it is, finding them and then figuring out what is going to trigger those bass to fire.
Yeah. No, this is what's going to make you a great content creator, right? And so you're constantly moving through the different baits. I had the time of my life about 3 weeks ago. Now, granted, I was on a private lake and they're hungry and they haven't seen a whole lot of lures, but I caught 25. I caught 25 different bass on 25 different lures. Like I was just not tying Palomar, not tying machine that day. And it was just fun to see that many hits. So like a lot of top water hits and stuff I usually don't even throw because like, okay, that's usually a low percentage for me. It was just fun to rip through. Seth is he's one of those, he's on the flip side. Not that he doesn't know how to fish, but you have a few things that and have high proficiency in. And you're a tournament angler, right? So you're not going to go there and test different things. And you have limited time because
it's the wrong time to do it. I know.
Yeah. 100%. Do you do a lot of tournaments? Hey.
Me? I do here and there. I'm trying to save money, have been for the past 2 years so that I can kind of do the YouTube thing full time.
Oh, man. Come on.
When you're a donator like me, I just rather donate to myself. So you know what I'm saying?
I'm there with you. I had that a revelation about a month ago when I was doing the Kayak Adventure series. Like, this is fun. I like being here.
Oh, it's fun.
This is a good time. Yeah. However, I need to be in the business of making money versus losing money because it's highly unlikely that I'm going to land in the money. I'm traveling to unknown places. I don't have the time to go. This is what I don't think a lot of people realize about kayak fishing tournaments. Like, you got people who do this for a living.
Yes.
Right? And so they're showing up and they're taking advantage of the entire pre-fishing, right? They might be on that body of water 3 days straight, scoping out where they're at. And so they already have their milk run ready for that day. And if you're like the weekend warriors, like, oh yeah, I think I got a chance, I'm a pretty good angler, and you think you're going to come in and you're going to offset that advantage because you get a half day of pre-fishing, it's likely not going to happen. That's why you get the same grouping of individuals in the top of the lineup there. Not to discourage anybody from tournament fishing, but in order to compete, you got to be able to give it the time, and you got to have a lot of the technology to just be on the same level. Doesn't mean you can't win.
Especially, you know, it's even that way in the boating world because, you know, I fish the two series that I fish are the bigger regional tournaments, you know, a couple of different BFLs and we've got a tournament series called the Morristown Marine, which generally it's a team trail tournament. They do 5 tournaments. First place is guaranteed $10,000. And I mean, they pay out very well and have a generally about 230 boat average. But these guys, you know, you're fishing with guys who are guides on those lakes. You're fishing against, and you know, here's poor little BassGeek that's maybe getting 2 days a week because I still work a full-time job. You know, I mean, it's gambling. It's gambling without knowing the percentages of the cards. It's just blind gambling.
That figures it out.
You gotta hope that you go out there and land on fish that are going to cash you a check. And that nobody else has found them. And generally, if it's me, you know, you're going to get those. You're going to get those fish that everybody already knows about. You find them in practice, and you're like, "Oh man, oh God!" And then you show up 8 guys. Everybody got those.
You know, I say what I said. However, Seth is this anomaly, right? He was winning these tournaments, and he was doing 2 jobs at once. And he would go out, and I have like 1 day of fishing. He placed in top 3. So Seth, I'm speaking out both sides of my mouth here because I was like, okay, that's usually what happens. However, Seth, you're an anomaly because I've actually seen you do it. Holding down 2.5 jobs.
Yeah, some of us are just gifted, Darren. You know,
I threw you a softball. I expect you to get out of the park.
I don't know. I won't fish an event unless I can practice. And depending on the size of the event, depends on the amount of practice that I put in. If it's a state event here in the state of Florida, I have some history on just about all the lakes. So I need at least 1 day of practice. If it's a national event, I need a couple days. So I don't really go out blind, but I know I'm going off topic here, but in the state of Florida, they have boat trails where they have, I forget the name of the trail, but it's like 8 or 10 lakes that they have on their schedule. Okay. And they don't release the name of the lake until the night before that they're going to fish the event. So it keeps people, because pre-fishing is such a massive thing. And there's people that work, there's people that don't work. So they will go out and like pre-fish that whole week to make that money. And then the people that work, it just discourages them to fishing that event. So what they've done is release the lake the night before, so you can pre-fish, but you might pre-fish the wrong lake, right? So it makes the working man have an opportunity on the weekend on those events. So
I like that rule.
I like the rule
because, you know, up here, I mean, it's the same schedule every single year, you know, for both tournaments. I mean, trails, and it's you know, you pretty much know, and then you've got what I call the local ringers. You know, the guys that are fishing that lake 5 days a week. It's the only lake that they
It's their home lake. They live on
the
lake. They're
not going to fish any other lake in the year.
I love it. Yeah. I love it. Here's a question, and I got a variety of things. Let's head over here. All right, I got 2 comments. Utopia Outdoorsman says, Nico has been my bait of August. It's exciting. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Low Life, my man. The Yamatanuki is the only thing that's been hitting something for him.
That's Daren's there.
I love the freaking
Yamatanuki.
Dude, I think that's money. Now, it also costs a lot of money because they don't stay on too long. However, it just works And thanks to Stinky Roofer Tom. I didn't even know this is possible. He gifted a Wendell Fishing membership. And so thanks, brother. It looks like Michael Bradley was the one who got that. So thank you so much. Memberships are a thing here on the podcast. If you want to know what all the details of it are, you got to be on the YouTube platform. You go down there. A lot of people get like early access to the videos. Like I have videos that I have like 6 videos that are done in the hopper that a lot of my members get access to before anybody else does. And so my recent one, Seth, did you see that one today? Maybe not. It just posted today. It's rocking and rolling. The new Kajo kayaks are coming.
Oh, that we talked about.
I know. I got Josh Thomas, the owner. We went for 3 hours straight. I interviewed him on each and every one of his fleet and the new Traverse drive. So I got 5 videos coming out over the next week. And that thing's rocking at 250 views an hour right now. And it's a 50-minute long video. So that's
good stuff.
What's unique about it, Bass Hank, you've been seeing this in your feed at all? Camino Journey kayaks at all?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I do need to talk to you a little bit because you asked me over our breakfast at McDonald's.
Yep.
You said I may be getting into a kayak. And man, come on. I got excited about that. So we'll talk about that in just a second. So thank you for the gifting and Wendell Fishing membership. And here's a good question. And we got to talk about it for those of you who don't follow Hank. Does Hank still live in the house that the F-150 hit?
I do. I'm actually in the room right here. It actually came through the window that I'm staring at behind my monitors. A guy had a seizure. Off of the road doing 80 miles an hour. Jumped over my neighbors came 3 yards. Came through 3 yards. Jumped over one driveway. Came down. Hit so hard. He threw gravel through the siding, busted my truck window, my wife's rear window, hit my front porch, which is concrete, went into the air. The rear end of the truck come through the window.
Cool. The rear end came in through your window.
Yeah. The bed come down, hit my wife's Honda, totaled it, shoved it into my neighbor's yard, and his truck and my wife's Honda ran into his porch and house. I mean, it was. I was sitting in the living room. I mean, I heard it coming. I jumped up like, which way do I need to run?
Yeah. Which wall is the truck coming through?
Yeah.
Gosh.
So
alive.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. But yeah, they fixed everything. Thank God he had good insurance.
He was all right
so
then.
Didn't have to come out of mine. And yeah, man. I mean, it's as good as new.
Yeah. You know what I love seeing in the comments right now? Do you guys see that? Fishing with Gramps is here.
Come
on, bro. Come on, bro.
Yeah.
I love it. Gramps had a hard month. And so I'm glad he is on the recovery. Talked to him a few times. Actually, I think this past week. And so he's got his head in the right spot. And so, JT, brother, continue to pray for you. And glad you're doing well. And love seeing you in the comment section, man. And he says, you need to get an XTR 130. So let's talk about that a little bit, and then we'll hop into the tactical fishing. When did you decide to get it? Because you're primarily a boat guy, right? You got like your dream boat.
I do
right now, and so why would you ever want to move away from that and get into a kayak outside of it's the promised land?
So I've got a very specific reason that I want a kayak. And there's I fish a lot of highlands reservoirs. Me and you had this conversation. There's not those little areas in the lakes or places that you're going to get into that I can't get my boat into because everything is it's straight up and down. I mean, you can watch the videos and you can see I live in the daggum mountains. And because
you're in Tennessee, right? For those who don't know.
Yeah, I live actually in Virginia, but I'm on the Tennessee-Virginia border. So a lot of the bigger lakes, like tournament lakes, I'll fish like South Holston, Cherokee, Chickamauga, Watts Bar, Fort Loudon, as I call it. But those lakes, Douglas, all those lakes are kind of my home lakes on that side. And then these little lakes over here, I'm not gonna name them because they're really small. And that's where I cut my teeth. It's where I grew up fishing out of a little John boat, that my granddad had, chained to a tree, and little motor guide, and a car battery. And me and my buddies had 11-year-old on the lake all by ourselves, just throwing whatever we could find. So
dream living right there. So that's what you want the kayak for.
So what I want the kayak for is there's some good rivers around here: the Powell River, the Clinch River, the Holston River, and so there's some really good river fishing around here. Okay. And you can wade some of them, but it never fails. There's a lot of porous rock. For example, there's a creek in my backyard. It goes under about a half mile up and doesn't come back up out of the ground for about a mile down the road.
Oh, wow.
So unless it rains real hard. So you got a lot of sandstone and, that sort of stuff. So it's there's a lot of underwater caves and stuff like that around here.
Oh, yeah.
So it never fails. Almost every single year, somebody's out wading, and we call them suck holes. And
no.
Yeah, they get, they go down here and come up. And when you get in one of those, they're literally suck holes. It doesn't matter if you have a life jacket on.
Yeah, you're not coming back up.
So,
wow.
So I'd rather be in a kayak. And I just want to, I think, because there's some really good smallmouth fishing and in some of these rivers.
Yeah.
And that's really what I want. So, I'm not really too interested in a trolling motor, maybe a little cheapo hand power pole. Might not want to, do that motion too much, but that sort of stuff, man. And I think that would be a blast to just be able to get out there, maybe 3, maybe 4 rods, and maybe 2 boxes of tackle, and just
float, man.
Float, man. Exactly.
I tell you, I went down. Oh, go ahead. Seth.
I was going to say, I got a question on that. So there are smallmouth underground right now.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of crazy.
Just kind of blew a little bit. Yeah.
I've thought about that. I've never tried to fish anything or find anything like that because I didn't want to stay away from the
It goes under, then comes back out. So there's probably smallmouth that are just chilling on the ground.
Why don't you just throw your lure down the suck hole and see what happens? That's a YouTube video. I fished the suck holes of Tennessee.
Have you ever heard the off-season jet toilet? How to cure the off-season bite, the winter bite? So there was this pro. He told this story one time. This has been years ago. He would take a fluke, and he'd find anytime he'd be in a hotel that had those jet toilets, like you hit it, and it's
yeah.
He'd drop it down in there and click it. Free spool it for just a few seconds, and he said it's the best fight of your life.
got to get the edge. Yeah. I know that feeling. Holy crap! Around on February, early March. Oh my gosh! I'm gonna start playing fishing video games. Start heading down south. All right. So you've done the research. I know you've talked to some individuals. And you talked to Hoover. We had a conversation.
I've done very little research.
Okay. So, anything you're leaning into right now or thinking about?
Not yet. I'm really dependent on, the kindness of you and Gramps and, some of the other kayak guys to kind of tell me, I do want to go down. I am going to take Chad up. I don't know if I get to do it this year, but maybe spring of next year. He said come down, jump in a kayak, and he'd show me some stuff and show me which ones that I'd probably want to go, and he'd take me out on a river down there. So I'm definitely going to take him up on that.
I love it. Seth, you think you still staying with your Hobie for a while?
Yeah, for sure, man.
For sure.
There's no reason to go anywhere else.
See,
you have like 17 reasons. All right.
Yeah. See, I thought about the Hobie, but a couple of guys have told me, and one of the reasons why I was thinking about the Hobie is because the pedal drive where they come up.
Yeah, the fin drive.
Because there's a lot of shoals, like especially like the Clinch hits. They're steep drop off shoals, so you'd have to get out if you wanted to go, too far down the river. So you're going to have to pull it across things.
Yeah. You see that comment down there, Seth?
Mm-mm.
We need to see Seth in the native hammer.
I'll catch him in anything. No, I'm just kidding. I do like the Hobie. I mean, I have no issues. All the issues other people have, I don't have. Plus, I had an issue. Well, I lie. I was about to
say, you just cracked your hull and got a replacement.
The seat, where the seat meets the deck, I cracked it, and then they gave me a brand new one. So,
and you didn't wait that long, to be honest with you. So it was a good turnaround.
4 weeks. It took 4 weeks. Yeah.
Okay, that's painful.
And I got to keep mine in the meantime. And then when I switched them out, they let me pull everything off my current kayak, like all the extras, everything, all the handles, like every single thing that was on it. All they needed was the hull. So now I have a brand new kayak and all the extra parts that people say that they can't get a hold of. I got those too. So yeah,
I like it.
Yeah,
I like it. All right, Hank, let's head tactical. Let's talk fishing, like tactical fishing here. So when an angler says, I can't find the fish, right? I'm coming up short. All the things that I mentioned at the beginning of this podcast. What is the first thing that you tell them to do? Or what are the questions you start asking to start deducing?
Well, this time of year, I mean, I think you've got to look for a couple of things. I mean, I think you've got to see if what type of bait fish are up shallow. Now, we're covering, he's in Florida, you're up north, I'm in the midsection of the country. Yep. So we're covering a lot of different things. Even during the summer, there's still seasonal summer patterns that are going on. And, for me, the first thing I'm telling anybody is look at your water clarity and start fishing 5 to 10 feet below it, even 15 feet below it. I mean, if you don't really have any sort of electronics, you're not, right now, because it's been summer, it's been stable, you're getting maybe a cold front or the nights are starting to get a little cooler. At least I know where you're at, where I'm at. I don't know about, down south yet, but I know generally in August, toward the end of August, you'll get that one little cold front and the fish start moving. And a lot of times what will happen is for me, I do a lot of ledge fishing. So I'm out there deep. And I always tell people, because you hear everybody talk about main lake, first third of the creeks, man. If those creeks have water in them and they've got deep water, there's always going to be some fish that are still up there in those creeks. And then right now, especially as you get into September, they're going to start moving into any sort of brush, deep laydowns, that sort of stuff. So, have those swim jigs. But when it gets tough this time of year, when those deep fish have been hit by everything, it's always good to go up the river. Go find that current, go find any sort of grass up the river, get up there and start throwing around. There's always going to be some bluegill up there, some sort of panfish. And if you get in the right little pocket or the right little creek channel swing, they'll stack up there.
So when you say deep, when you talk about reservoir in Tennessee, Highland Reservoir, and I fish some of them, they're fun. They're big lakes. Like you said, there's no shallow bank. It usually goes from bank to 10, 15 feet, and then it starts doing whatever it's doing. Yeah. A lot of times they're really clear. At least that's been in my experience. Maybe not.
They are
super
very
clear. So you can see all the 10 feet down. You can see that tree that fell in and all that stuff.
Yeah. In the lakes that I'm fishing right now on the Virginia side, well, even on the Tennessee side. Now, if I go down to Douglas, it depends on if I'm up or down the lake. You might get 3 to 5 down the lake. You're probably going to get 2 up the lake. Cherokee, you're going to get a little more than that. You're going to get maybe 15 down the lake. If you're up the river, you're going to get 2, 3. The lakes I'm fishing on the Virginia side, they can go anywhere from 8 to 20 foot. And when I say 20 foot, I can jump in and smile at you and you can count my teeth. I mean, they're clean. So, that's kind of where I start, and what I've really, and I know I'm going to bring this up because one of the things I love about learning is, so I've fished for being in the Highlands lakes. I love it. I find I get tickled a little bit when people start going, the last bastion of bass fishing is suspended bass. And we've only been able to do that since we've got forward face bull. I got videos on it. I've been fishing for suspended bass in open water, counting baits down with 2D forever.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so what happens to the bass here?
Well, really quick, for those of you who might be listening or new, what do you mean by counting baits down?
So, like,
because a lot of people don't have FFS. So,
yeah,
hey, tell me what you're doing, because I want to fish suspended bait.
So, kind of like what Seth said there, if there's one thing on God's green earth that I'm good with, it's your larger soft plastic swim baits. Because I've been throwing swim baits in clear water, because what's everybody tell you? Oh, man, you know, it's clear, the water's still. Well, you want to go dink-a-link a little worm around. Go throw that little worm. Go throw that little tiny worm. Well, how many people do you think going down that bank's dink-a-link that stupid little green worm around?
I'm one of them.
But if I go down through there, on a 6 or a 7-inch really translucent swim bait, guess what's going to happen? They like steaks better than I can will buy any sausages. I promise you. And so that's what everybody does. So pick something like that up and go down. So when you're out there, what ends up happening here is you get into certain creeks and you'll get these bass that will suspend. And, you know, for years when we talked about ledge fishing, we talked about, you know, people talked about, well, you know, they got to be lined up all on the bottom. Well, we found out that's a load of BS. Well, I knew that way before we had forward facing sonar, because the ones that are on the bottom are not active. Yeah, you get them active because you run a crankbait through your reaction bite, you drag a jig or you drag a worm. They're easy to target because you don't have to think about the rest of the water column. What I started learning was I could take that swim bait out there with a 1/2 ounce head, a 631 reel, 15-pound fluorocarbon, and I could throw it out there and I could count down 7 and get it down to about, 15 feet. And then I can reel it at a certain speed and keep it at 15 feet. And those active bass that are up there chasing those shad will knock the crap out of it.
All right.
So when I start seeing those schools of shad and I start seeing kind of a common bottom, one of the first things I started doing was taking those swim baits and big underspins. Such a great ledge fishing tool that nobody really talks about or uses. A bigger underspin. 1/2 ounce with a 3 to, we'll say 6-inch Bastric style, hollow body, hollow belly style bait.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times, and people are like, well, why don't you just throw a spinner bait? Well, a spinner bait is going to get a lot more flash because the body's not covering that blade in clear water. You're going to get the thump. Thump and vibration is such a key to getting bass. So when you're counting down a bait, what I would do way back years ago is I would count the bait down until I felt like it was at the bottom or just above the bottom of the shad. Because you bring that bait through that shad, through the bottom of it, what happens when that line comes through? That shad parts. And when that bass is looking and they see this little bigger shad and all that shad open up, it's just like going, come get me, daddy. So, and something happened this year. So me and you talked about this. I don't necessarily say where I'm at, but I don't hide where I'm fishing, when I'm out there making videos.
Okay.
So there's a couple of smaller lakes there's a couple of bigger lakes where people have gone to those spots. And so they start fishing those swim baits or those underspins. And so you got to kind of stay a little ahead of the game. Well, this year, so what I started doing a few years ago is, and I've actually got a video titled, what was it? 20 pounds over a 30-foot ledge. And I started throwing big top waters. And, what does everybody want to do when they talk about a big walking bait? They want to go, but, we're talking about largemouth. So you get out there over largemouth and they're sitting down there suspended 20, 25 feet. You want to tie a loop knot, get you a smooth nose, not a stub nose. So that's the reason why I'm a big heading fan, because I can get a heading to wide walk at about 180 with a good loop knot and the right line. And what that does is that, because those largemouth, those bigger largemouth, they're like me. They're going to see that up there, and if it goes by their head, they're going to go, no, not worth my time.
Yep.
Now, smallmouth and a spotted bass way different, but a largemouth is going to be like, that looks good. No, that's done gone. I ain't chasing. They're fat, man. They're not moving far. I love barbecue, but if that truck is by me too quick, I'm not flagging it down.
I'll wait for the next one. A little slower.
So I'm going to get on the phone and be like, dude, can you make the U-turn? So what you do is you walk it, and they'll just come up and they'll just suck it in. So, what changed to that? Well, because the swim bait and underspin bite died on me because, I had a guy who I'm glad he did it, but I was in Lowe's and he was like, BassGeek, man, I stroked him on that point up there just like you said with that underspin. Hey, man, that's cool. That just makes me become a better angler.
Yeah, because now it does, because now the fish aren't biting that spot no more. You got to find a new one.
It's how I discovered fishing spy baits on ledges. So, for largemouth, I was like, well, that ought to work. As long as it's, and when it comes to clear water, like I've got I got rules to clear water.
Let's hear them. The rules. Hank's rules to clear water. Which ones haven't you shared yet?
Well, so counting down a bait, basically, just to give you a quick way and tell you how to do it. What I'll do is I'll take a rod. Let's say I got a 7-foot rod. I'll take a bait out, and I'll let that rod or that bait dangle 7 foot, and then I'll just give it a quick spin, drop my tip right to the water, and I'll go 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3. That gives me a rough idea once it goes dunk of how quick that bait falls and how many feet it falls. So now I know when I make that cast, it hits the water. Now I know it's going to slow down, but it's slowing down that 7 feet when I just give it a little turn too. So now I can get a rough idea of how far that bait is going to fall and how deep I can fish it. So I can send it out there. And one thing about ledge fishing, I had a guy who made the swim bait that I love. He seen me one time. I'd throw out there, make this long cast, and I'd throw out there and I'd just start feeding line. Because I'll hold my rod at a certain line and I'll let it bow. And then before it pulls that bow up, I feed it a little more line. So as soon as that bait hits the water, I don't want it to sit there, that swim bait. So as soon as I see it go, dunk, and when it hits bottom, that line will twitch, you engage. And then you start slow rolling if you want to keep it about 1 foot to 3 foot off the bottom. But I do that. I feed it line because I want it pendulum the least amount, because when I'm fishing summer and I've got a group of fish in an area, I want to be able to fish that as much as that group as I can.
Yeah, it makes sense. If you start pulling it,
so I want to cast
early, you lose
over them
15,
and come back
20 yards of it makes sense. I like it.
Sorry. Now, clear water. And I fish what I call ultra clear water. So clear water to me is 3 foot and above.
Okay.
5 foot and above is ultra clear. If you're fishing that and you're fishing deep water, to be able to throw hard baits, and I even classify a jig as a hard bait. Anything that looks less natural than a soft plastic. And even if a soft plastic has too much action, like let's talk about Kitex. I love Kitex in the winter around smallmouth because you can fish them slow because they don't stiffen the way some of the bigger swim baits. And here, I'll show you something. What I'm actually talking about. So when we talk about swim baits, especially in the summer, and we talk about rules, even swim baits like this is very much flat-sided. It's a solid it's a hollow or solid body. Doesn't have a lot of movement, but that's a great summer bait because summertime you don't see this big wagging tail. You see this shimmying.
What is that, by the way? You're
is a Ramsey.
It.
That's the guy that makes my favorite Ramsey baits. He's local. Right. Yeah. Makes them really beautiful swim baits.
It's pretty.
It is shiny.
But
Shiny.
but the rules to me. So let's talk about spy baits. If I'm going to throw a spy bait, I've got to have low light. I've got to have a combination of this is better, but if you at least get one, sometimes you can catch some. But if I'm out there fishing clear water, they're 30 foot deep, and I'm fishing a ledge, I've got to have, and it's, let's say, average 10 foot visibility.
Okay.
I've got to have low light, or even 5, even 3. I got to have low light or a good enough chop to where, you know, you're getting something in that range, or you got to have cover, grass. You got to have something to break it up, especially these are for largemouth. These are largemouth rules.
Yep.
Things change with spotted bass and smallmouth because they're so much more aggressive. But even during the summer, like, I won't throw a jig unless I'm throwing it into something. And the reason why is because I know that soft plastic is going to look 100 times more natural in that clear water, especially if it's steel. That worm is going to look, I will, most people, you know, the old rule used to be don't throw a ribbon tail into brush piles. I think that's completely backwards. If I'm fishing clear water, I'm throwing a ribbon tail into a brush pile. I'm not throwing one out on a ledge in open water. I'm throwing a big shaky head. You know, and I've seen, you know, we got the Nico question.
Yeah.
One of the videos that I just dropped a little while back was throwing a mag Nico rig, you know, throwing a 10 or 12 inch worm out on the ledge at Nico rig. Because what's everybody throwing? They're Carolina rigging them. They're shaky heading them. How many people are seeing a wacky rig Magnum Nico worm going? Not many bass are seeing that.
Getting a little something different.
But
I like it.
You know, sorry, man. I just get, you can tell, man. I get like,
I had you on because I wanted you to geek out. And so I love it. Seth, any questions? Also, if you have any questions for Hank while we have him on, do and throw those in the comment section. Also, I want to know if you're listening in live. Let me know what you're catching them on right now. What are you having luck on in the midst of that? Just because we don't know where you live. Let us know, hey, I live in Ohio and I'm catching on this. That'd be fun. We'll circle back a little bit.
Yeah. So
right.
For one, it takes extreme discipline to count lures down. It's so easy to throw it out there, just let it go to the bottom. But to like count them down, like that takes discipline every single cast. So kudos there. I have to watch it on my screen or I get bored. But as far as like the bigger Nico, that interests me. So there's a brand that I use called Magnum Baits. They're out of Texas. They're in Dark Horse Tackle store as well. They have baits in the Dark Horse Tackle store, Daren, but they have bigger baits like Magnum. They got like the Mag, just a bunch of different things. So they have like stickworm style that's just thick. And I haven't really experimented with the larger soft plastics much, but it intrigued me when you said you Nico'd a 10-inch worm. I'm like, hey, you know what? I might have to throw some of them in and try those. Do you have a lot of experience throwing those bigger baits? Now, I know you said you throw a bigger like swim bait. Any of the other soft plastics that you throw that are bigger? And
yeah, man. You know,
summer and winter.
You know, this right here. This is this crawl. I think it's. If you look at it on the website, this is by J Bros. Is another small bait maker.
Yeah.
And this
stuff's blowing up my feed right now. Everything's yeah. Anyways, keep going.
This crawl is pretty big. You know, this is a 3/4 ounce. I don't remember who makes that, but this crawl is huge. And on the Tennessee River, this is a big deal, is finding these big crawls that they can shaky head. So drag through the shell beds on the ledges and that sort of stuff. And like I said, I think this crawl it's only 4 inches, but we have a drinking game on my channel. Anytime I say girth, you gotta take a drink. So, so you know, I always say, I think a girthy worm or a girthy crawl
That's going to be a name of a worm coming out, the girth worm.
Yeah. So, that's something that's, a big deal. Now, this is subtle. It's got a little bit of flap because it's got a little bit of hinge, but those just really, they're not like this way, so they're not flapping a lot, so it's real subtle. And that's this time of year. If you're going to fish out there a little bit deeper, you need to be dragging. You need to be finding that piece of brush. You need to be finding that that little bit of a drop off, because the moving baits out deep, I know where I'm at. They've seen so many of them. Oh God, dude! I don't got it with me. I was getting ready to say.
Where's that?
I also use. So I love to crank. Douglas is a deep cranking lake. It's actually where strolling or long lining started, and Douglas Lake, because what they'll do is they'll get on these more rounded points, and they'll be just spread out. So you'd go over, make your, take a 10XD, throw it out, which is going to dive to about 20, 25. If you're crazy like me and you're throwing it on 8, I can get it to about 30, 8-pound test. So, and then you just click it, and you take your trolling motor and you drive for as far as that school ain't there no more. And then you start cranking, and you can get it down to 30, 40 feet. But everybody loves to go down there because it's one of the few good cranking lakes that we still have around here, without going all the way down to the Tennessee River. And even then, everybody loves to crank because, who don't love a crankbait bite? Good Lord, that's one of the funnest things you can ever do. But it dies fast because they see so many. They could probably go, yeah, that's the sexy shad.
Naming them out.
Yeah.
I like that color. I bid on that color 2 years ago.
Yeah, so in May, the end of May, that bite, end of May and first 2 weeks of June, where I'm at, that bite is just fire, and then it's over because they've seen so many of them. But what I've been doing is Picasso. Jackhammer makes one that's 1 1/4, maybe. But Picasso makes a shock blade, small blade. They make a big blade, and they make it all the way up to 2 ounces. And I'll put a big jerky J on there because what does everybody want to throw? They want to throw those scrounger style heads. Throw a big chatterbait out there and see what happens.
Biggest I have is a big blade. I don't have anything larger than that.
Not the big blade. You want the little one to keep it down.
Yeah. Interesting. I love it. All right, we got a lot of comments over here. I asked the question.
Sorry.
No apologies, man. He goes, you're the guest. You're the talk the whole time. I'm just over here smart,
man. I love fishing so much, man. I've been on vacation, so I kind of disconnected. So you got me coming back, and I'm going tomorrow.
We're going where you going?
Highlands Reservoir, and man, the topwater bite should be on fire. Literally out over like 130 foot, we're going to be throwing spooks, man. So I'm jacked. I'm ready to go.
Yo, I'm pumped. I'll be getting up at the butt crack of dawn as well, heading out to Mosquito. My buddy was supposed to go with me, but his dog's having puppies right now, so it's gonna be me, and I'm gonna channel my inner Seth Taylor, and I'm going to win
the day.
We'll see. Well, the beauty of where I'm fishing on Mosquito is that there's one boat ramp that I know that has a lot of the tournaments they check in, and just call it Release Bay because there's a tournament like every day on Mosquito. And I just know, and there's a marina right there, and a lot of these tournaments can't fish the marina. I can fish the marina, and I know all these donks are sitting in that area, so I don't necessarily want to go like explore the entire lake. When I know everybody's been bringing these largemouth back for the past month and a half, 2 months, and they'll go back eventually, but a lot of times, and I've seen the studies, and I've actually heard when I had Bailey Eichbread on. He was like, hey, largemouths will stick around for a couple of weeks before they head back. And so
we call those retreads.
There you go.
And listen, we always say a retread will weigh just as well as a fresh caught one. So
yes, it does. All right, here we go. When I asked the question to everybody, what is it and where are you fishing and what is hitting right now for you? Hugo said Northern California, and all I'm having luck with is spinner baits right now. Okay, I like it. Nate Hawkins, Virginia. He's having luck on the crankbaits. 10K Sweaty Fishing. The Reg Stick. 10K Sweaty Fishing has a new logo. You guys see that? See that?
Nice.
I like it. Also, Nate again, Virginia Swim Jigs. That's what I've been having luck on recently. I love the all-terrain tackle swim jig with the Rage Swimmer KVD Magic color. And every time I throw something else on, granted, I don't give it a whole lot of time because I'm so confident in the other one, but nonetheless, it just gets hit all the time. Steven Sturgeon, Central Illinois, been doing well in the Buzz Toads in the lily pads. I like it.
I love a Buzz Toad.
There you go. I got my buzz bait, which is from the Brazalo lures. I got my buzz bait tied on for tomorrow with a toad on it, so I'm excited about that. Michael Bradley coming in said Hudson River, New York, Shimano World Pop Black and Blue Yamatanuki, Utopia Fisherman, lover of mallard ducks, says Nico and Frog, performing in New Brunswick, Canada.
Wow.
I like it.
These folks are from all over the country, man.
All over the freaking country. Colin B. Basson say won my tournament in Michigan on a wacky rig. The lake I was on wasn't super clear. Lots of weeds. Caught them in like 5 or 6 feet of water. The worm was dark pink Gary with a bright pink tail.
You know what I just realized? I said these folks are from all over the country, and the last comment was the Canadian one. Man, I'm off.
Yeah.
All over the continent.
All over
North America.
We'll just consider it northern Maine. There we go.
There you go. Yeah.
All right, Brian March, Kentucky fisherman here. Been catching them on the jigs, casting at weed lines or other cover, just letting it fall, give it a little shake, recast to another spot. I like it. Let's see, Utopia again. G-Crack Bellows Gill. There's a trailer on the chatterbait. It's worked awesome as well.
That's also a great bait, Nico rigged, by the way, especially when they're when the panfish are up spawning. Just stick your nail weight in, hook it
Bellows
right in the middle.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I like the who is it, man? Thunderhawk makes one that's the stretchy plastic.
Oh,
so
yeah.
It stands up and you can hook through it. You don't have to worry about it tearing up.
I love me some stretchy plastic. I really do. it's I mean, to be able to put on like a the Gobi something like that. It's like, okay, the only way I'm losing this or this thing goes like dead on me is 2, 1, a walleye eats it and it takes it, or 2, I store it with a different plastic other than that. But man, they last forever. They're a little bit more expensive, but man, they last forever. So Roman Hirschberger getting started back into fishing after 12 years. Come on, Roman. Having a hard time right now, but I'm in Northeast Ohio. Love the content, Roman. Just keep on following along, Wendell Fishing. I got Northeast Ohio down. My man, I got you. What else we got here?
Yeah, Daren's on that Northeast Ohio pattern. So you just follow down. Yeah.
Follow my truck. Put an air tag on my truck, and you guys will be good. We'll be good to go. All right. Oh my gosh. You guys see that? Some of the comments, the name of some of the comments. Sorry. I'm not even going to go down that road.
Yeah.
All right. Sometimes you just got to show up live, folks. So everyone listening is like, dang it. Tell me what it is, Daren. Sorry. Sometimes you just got to be live. Hank, what are some of the major mistakes you see anglers doing during the summer that is costing them bites? It's the root cause of the reason they're getting skunked. What are some of the culprits you see a lot?
So talking from August in my area, not taking the 3 things into account that you should always take into account for summer fishing. And
we'll share those too.
It's current, it's grass, and it's depth. And to me, for the summer, that's what it's all about. You got to find one of those 3 things. And you were talking about buzzbaits, and we were talking about toads. One of my other favorite patterns, other than fishing deep during the summer, is to go up the river and start early morning in that clear water with a buzzbait, and then as the sun starts to come up, switch over to that buzz toad, because again, it's a little more subtle. So if you get on a good buzzbait bite, you can move over to that buzz toad and you can catch a few more fish. So keep that topwater bite up shallow going. I think that's the biggest thing. Like, they just, and bass, like I said, bass in my area, they're moving right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'll guarantee you. Well, and I made this mistake right before I left for vacation. We had been fishing 2 or 3 ledges, and a major cold front had come through and dropped the nighttime temperature hard, even though we're back up. But we went up, and I tried my best to force feed. And, we were whacking them. I was fishing, because I'm one of those guys like glutton for punishment. If I go to a lake and it sucks, I'm going back until I figure it out. I can't let that happen.
Everyone else is like not
oh,
going
man,
back to that lake.
Yeah, everybody else is like, man, you ought to go down here. And I'm like, no, man, this lake ain't getting off.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, that's it. I'm done. I think it's another reason why I'm such a poor at tournament.
Why can't I win tournaments?
Yeah, but yeah, I mean that's the big thing. We went out, we'd been catching, and it's hard. Like, you catch 5 bass on this lake, and you're doing real well.
Oh wow. Okay. Are they sizable, or is it just tough lake?
They're a 16-pound bag is good on that lake. Okay. So generally I can push 13 to 15 most of the time in 5. We went out, man, and we were putting 5 and 6 and 8 in before 10:30, and we'd get on the lake at about 6:30, and that's really good. But we went out the last time, and I sat on that one spot, man. And there was a few out there, and I tried, and I put one in the boat, and then we left because we had to film some content, some how-tos, that sort of stuff. And we went down the lake just to get closer to the ramp and have some good scenery to film. And the next thing I know, they're busting everywhere. Dudes are left and right catching them. And I looked at my buddy and I went, man, I got to go over here and check the mouth of this holler. And I go over and I check the mouth. They're just loaded at the mouth of this holler, man. And I'm going, man, they're already in this like fall. Late summer, fall, early fall kind of pattern. I'm like, golly, man, that cold front moved them a mile down. And I mean, they'll move it. The lake that we're going to fish tomorrow. Yeah. We followed. I've not been fishing that lake for long. And I had a couple of my buddies who fish some tournaments over there. And they're shallow anglers. And they're like, dude, come out here and help us figure out how to find these fish deep. Well, dude, we went out, and that just so happens I'd got my eyeballs beat in by some scopers on the, and I say this, and let me tell you, I'm 100% scoper. I sleep with mine at night. Oh, yeah. Because let me tell you, as a guy who counts down baits, it's a lot better to be able to see it and throw at it.
100%.
So I've done my years of due diligence, people. So don't be mad at me. All right. I did it before. But dude, we followed. I mean, we found these schools. So we get up there maybe late July, and we start finding, we go up into one of the major rivers, and we find these shad fry. Or not shad. Yeah, shad fry. And they're all around this big, area, channel swing, and they're around this thing, and there's some fish around them. And so I'm throwing that through that ball of shad that's around this stick up that's sticking up out of 50 foot of water. And, we're catching 1 or 2. And then all of a sudden, here comes this huge group in. And I start going, wait a minute. And so they're busting out away from me. And I start following them around. And there's 150, 250 largemouth schools out there.
Wow.
And so we just start clocking them, dude. And as soon as that nighttime temperature starts to drop, and I'm telling you, if that night temperature drops, they are moving. They are moving immediately. Because if that water temp drops 1 iota and it maintains that drop, first thing in the morning, I always say the correct water temperature is the first water temperature at daylight, safe light. That's the truest water temperature through the depth of the call, because you get the water that is cooled off all night. And then a lot of times you're only reading surface temperature as the day goes on. So it's only heating up that first 2, maybe 3 foot of water. Mm-hmm. So you really want to judge by that first thing in the morning. But those fish moved. We followed those schools for 5 miles down the lake.
Wow.
Until they finally went to the bottom and caught it a winner.
How long? How long were you out there clocking 5 miles?
Well, it was over the course of, they stayed stationary until about the last 2 weeks of August.
Okay.
And then that's when the temperature started to drop. And then we followed them through August, through September, probably early October.
Wow,
mid-October, they went away.
You're on them.
Yeah. Yeah, we were on them. I mean, we had several good videos.
Heck,
I even took a guy out who had never fished for bass before and just looked at him and said, listen, when I throw a topwater out here, you take this Strike King, and I put a belly weight on it, about an eighth of an ounce, and it was one of the Strike King caffeine shad, then ghost shad, great color. And I said, if I throw it out there, and I said, and I twitch, and you hear me tell you they're coming, I said, you throw 2 foot behind me, 3 foot behind me. You go 1, 2, 3, twitch, 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 1, 2, 3, twitch, twitch, twitch. He got the first 2 fish, and they were both over 3 pounds.
Oh, nice.
So,
for guys
in my area, 3-pounders are your target fish. You'll catch a lot of chicks with 15-pound bags.
Okay, I like it. Seth, any questions?
No, there's been a few times where I've turned on. One was this past year on the St. Johns River, where looking at my graph, and I've seen a school of like 100+ bass.
Yeah,
and it was during an event. Unfortunately, they were all like 16, 17 inches. And I needed like 20 inches. But man, I would cast in there, and I mean, it's the coolest thing. I mean, they wouldn't have been schooling too much. Yeah. They were just in an area and just kind of hanging out. I mean, it's every single cast. That was really cool. That's only happened a few times. Another time, they were more of a schooling situation, was over there at the Knucklehead with you.
Daren. Yeah, I remember that.
I was with Philip out on the one flat there. And yeah, dude, they were big ones there, though. Those were some good ones. Those are like 3-4 pounders there. But I love those situations, man. That's like one of the most fun things, because it doesn't really matter what you throw out there. The competition between those fish, man, they just hammer it.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
I'm a little jealous of everyone's forward facing sun over here, but I will say I got news for everyone. All right, I'm not going like all in on expensive FFS, but I am getting the Eagle Eye 9. It is on its way. So I'm going to cut my teeth on kind of the low end of FFS, and I eventually, over time, I'm sure I will be upgrading. But that's where I'll start, on Lowrance. So we'll see. Scarvy says, welcome to the dark side. I'm ready. It's a good feeling going into it. Be like, okay, I put in a lot of time on non-FFS. Now it's time for me to elevate my understanding of bass behavior.
Yeah. It is so eye-opening.
You have no idea.
So eye-opening.
No,
we were talking about swim baits earlier. Yeah. So I've always got, one of these and an underspin tied on. And this year I was throwing out, and there was a ton of bass suspended. Just, they would not touch top water. Would not. And when I say suspended, I mean, 8-10 foot under the water, just
right there.
Schools of them. But everybody started doing that now on the lakes. So now I'm having to kind of, change up. And so I'd throw out that big swim bait, and I'd notice, man, I'd get followers. They'd even swipe at it. And I was like, man, they just don't want that big swim bait, but it's getting them fired up. So I'd throw that underspin, just that little bit of thump would trigger them.
Okay.
So then I'd throw that underspin 2-3 times, and you'd see them. First cast, you'd catch one. Second cast, you might get 1 or 2 following. Third cast, nothing. And this is something that I've started talking about a lot. Have 2 baits that are very close, but not the same.
Okay.
Not the same in size, but you can fish at the same level or the same speed. because I'm telling you, I'd pick up that big swim bait and I'd throw out there, and they'd follow it, and they'd maybe swipe at it and hit it in the side. But then I'd do that maybe once or twice. I'd pick that underspin up, throw it out there, first cast. And it was like I was erasing their daggone mind with that bigger swim bait. And then I'd come right back behind them with that underspin. And the first cast every single time they'd hit.
See, that's what I look forward to right there. I'm gonna lose my ever loving mind. I know I am. Seth, you'll know the day I get onto this podcast, and it'll be, and I've used it, and I'll see the first fish followers, and after I know it's gonna take me quite a bit of time. I keep hearing it, but I'm also a lover of information, so I'll watch every video known to man. I will dial that in much faster than most.
One of the things that blows my mind, especially about schools like that, if you throw it out there and they all go crazy over it, you got about 2 more casts to get them to fire on that bait. Because most of the time what happens, if they don't hit it immediately, you'll throw it out there again, you'll get about half the school following it, you'll throw it out there again, and nobody will follow it.
Nothing. Time to change it up.
They pick it up that fast.
They're small, little, tiny brains. They're smarter than we think they are.
Yeah.
I think I said it before in here, but the followers, especially like big bass, like when you get good at it, you can tell like what a big fish is. And down here we have like 10 pounders. So like it looks like a big old carp following it. And you can tell it's a bass, not a catfish, whatever. Yeah. But I equate it to like deer hunting. Like I bow hunt a lot, grew up archery hunting, and you have like a big buck walking through, and you have like a small window to shoot this deer or to draw and get a shot off. And it just doesn't come through the right gap, or it turns or does whatever. Like, it's just like this huge, like, oh, you got to be kidding me. And that's these big fish. When they follow, they nose up to it, and you're doing everything you think should work. And they're just like, nah, no thanks. And then they turn away, and you're like, oh my gosh, man.
Dude,
I don't have it. It's happening. And I don't get that feeling.
Look at it, it's tough to get them to bite then. That you did. The best opportunity is that first one.
How many times have you buzz baited them? Now, what I mean by that is, you know how first thing in the morning, your first thing, you still got some sleep in your eyes. You're throwing and that one goes boom, and you're like, oh, God. I can't tell you, man, how many times I've been working a jerk bait over a brush pile or something, and here just comes, I mean, just a dot, man. You know, it looks like he's just big. He'll come up out there at 100 miles an hour, and it's like, shoot, and you're like, oh, you're like, there's nothing there.
Yeah, you'll pull it away in the beginning, Daren. Your patience will not.
I'll see it before I feel it.
You will see it, and you like it looks like their nose touches the bait, so you'll set the hook, and you'll pull it right away from them 100 times.
So I've been to Mickey rigging like way before live scope. So how we used to do it down here is we'd have 2D. Of course, we'd have our what is it called? ATS or something, your live scope there on the side. And so we'd get out on points or, places like that, ditches, and you'd see the bass down there, and you just vertically drop on them, old school to Mickey rigging. And so when you'd vertically drop on them, they'd be anywhere from, 30 to 80 feet deep, smallmouth. Well, when they, after a while, you'd see that mark start to come up, and you could watch your rod tip. They would come up and just nose it to see if it moved. And you'd sit there and watch your rod tip go, and then them swim back down away from it.
Oh, yeah.
Because they know a real shad ain't just going to sit there.
Yeah, let them like nuzzle up to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait till you see the difference in live bait, too. So when I fish tournaments with live bait, just kidding. But when I throw live bait on there for fun,
when I win all these tournaments, I mean, my bad.
It was a live bait tournament. Come on,
it was a live bait tournament. 30X.
That's why. That's the real reason he's got these mallard ducks. He's gonna put harnesses on them.
I mean, you watch.
Have you figured out how to make their feet spinning yet?
No, they do that themselves. Just tie it to their net.
We're not letting Seth talk at all. We're talking.
You got duck jokes, guys. You got duck jokes.
I got him. I got jokes.
I got them. I don't even remember what I was. Oh yeah, live bait. That's where we were. When you throw like jerk bait or worm, whatever, it's not working, and then you have like shiners or you have bluegills, whatever. You throw that out there, they all eat it right away. Right away. Big ones will eat it right away. They don't even take them. They'll chase it around a little bit and then just eat it.
See, I haven't done that yet. And I swear, man, I've thought about getting just like some shiners and just to Mickey rigging them just to see what they would do. I mean, they're not going to move. You're going to fish it the same way, but I just want to see if they react to it differently.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's good stuff. It's fun.
I haven't fished live bait. It almost feels like I can't. But I'm not in any tournament right now. It's like, why don't I go fish live bait? I haven't done it in probably, my gosh, 5-6 years.
They'll eat it. I mean, there's a bridge down on Lake Manatee. Just gave it away. All right, guys. Whoops. There's a bridge on Lake Manatee.
You have to watch this podcast an hour and 17 minutes to get that juice right there.
In the summertime, big ones like 5-8 pounders just sit on this bridge. It's like 20 feet of water. They're suspended. And I'll run stuff through there. And you'll see it in some of my videos. I'll catch them on artificial. But if you just drop anything live in there, anything live, they just hammer it. Chase it around, eat it right away. But it's cool. It's fun to watch.
You throwing big spoons on those bridge? I'm guessing it's piers or
pilings. They're pilings. It goes across. I'll drop some in there. Typically, I'm throwing. I mean, I caught one on a jelly worm last year, like a 12-inch jelly worm, just because I'm throwing every single thing that moves past them.
Yeah.
I caught one on that, but yeah, I'll throw
when
everything.
You pull up there sometime, get you one of those Ben Parker 8-inch.
Oh, yeah.
Throw it in there right beside of it.
Yeah.
I told a buddy we were fishing on Douglas one time. There's a lot of gizzard shad on that lake. And we went down there, and I ended up fishing with, oh, God, I just went brain dead. Sean Strader, which is, what's his name's brother, the elite pro.
Oh, the one. What's his name's brother? Yeah.
Wesley will smack me. But anyway, so I fished with Sean, and he's a shallow water guy. So we went all the way up the river. But I was down there, and the guy I was practicing with, because I was fishing as a co-angler, we fished deep all the time. Well, I was throwing a 6-inch spoon. I was throwing a big Ben Parker, big 12-inch. And they would only hit that 12-inch. A buddy of mine come down. He didn't get any practice. He comes down, and he's like, my guy's fishing deep. He says, I brought spoons. I got a 6-inch tied on. I said, take it off, throw that big one. I said, I threw those 6-inchers all day, and I said, I never took the first bite. Every time I'd pick up that 12, I said, or that 8-inch, I'd get a bite. He goes, and on 4 fish, dude, largemouth. That's back when, Douglas used to be worth a, what. On 4 fish, they pull up to this bridge. He makes a cast out there. Boom, 6-pounder. Puts it in the boat. Throws out there again. Boom, 5-pounder. Puts it in the boat. Now, he's a code, dude. He's a code. He gets 4 fish and a giant crappie on an 8-inch Ben Parker spoon.
Oh, wow.
And he finished the second. He led until the last, like one of the last groups come in. And he finished second with 4. And he had 4 that were like, I think 3 of them were over 5. So, and one of them I think was like 3.5. So, but yeah, dude, on those bridge pilings, those big spoons, especially down there where you're at.
I've noticed on the bridges too that, no, it's not a guarantee, but typically they don't set up until like 2-3 hours after daylight. So they're not there in the mornings. I'll check them because I have to go through some of the bridges in the mornings, and they're never there in the mornings.
Huh.
It waits.
That's something else that I've noticed up here, like those big schools, like we're going to chase tomorrow. They go to the bottom, and they go to the bottom at like 6-7 o'clock in the evening, and it's almost like clockwork. 9 o'clock. Me and my buddy Mike joke about it. It's 9 a.m. and we'll go fish shallow until 9 a.m. comes, and then boom, they're there. They'll just come up off the bottom from somewhere and be out in the middle chasing shad. I don't know if the shad begin to pull up and sun because it's full of a lot of threadfin. Threadfin love the sun. And, it's like clockwork, dude, for us.
It's awesome. Daren, I know you're going to land this ship pretty soon, but I have something to discuss real quick. I don't think we've
what I can't get out of my mind, which is how can you hook a harness to a mallard duck and go bass fishing with it?
These ones are too big, dude. These ducks are big now. It'll be a teener now. They're a month old. You catch one on these ducks.
Throw them in your side pond. I'm telling you, that'd be awesome. They go viral, guaranteed. Then have your wife take a picture with it, and then you're set for life.
Probably, yeah.
All right,
the wife is a cheat code on YouTube. So completely separate topic, but it's on bass fishing.
All right.
You probably know this, but Bassmaster on Roku 24/7. Have you seen that?
Nope.
I've heard it, but I have not.
I have been falling asleep to Bassmaster
every
single day for the last like month.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, dude. It is like heaven to me, man. You know how like I always put a show on at night to like kind of fall asleep to, whatever. Yeah. My wife will read, like after we watch a show together, she'll read or something, and then she'll go to sleep. Well, I put on Bassmaster, and it is like it's 24/7 on Roku, the Bassmaster channel. It's amazing. Right. So if you guys didn't know that.
Know what I've been thinking about? And I think I got the idea from you, Seth, because I believe in your garage, you have a TV, right?
I do.
I saw that one in the background of one of your videos. It's like, you know what? I'm looking around my garage. It's like, I need a TV. And if Roku has 24/7 fishing on, I'll just run that 24/7.
There's nothing better than working in the garage, cleaning up the garage, working on your kayak, having bass. I always put Bassmaster Elite Series on when it's live, but it's on 24/7 now. So I just throw it on there, being in the garage. I'm just putting bass fishing into my subconscious. Like, give me everything you got. Everything you got, Elite Series. Come on.
Your dream someday.
Right.
Someday. Like,
you never know, like the little nugget that you grab from these guys just from like listening, because you know most of the stuff they're talking about, and then something little will come like, oh, that's interesting. I never really thought about
apply that. Yeah,
apply it, and then you just stack those on top of each other and figure them out.
I like.
So yeah, 24/7.
Well, if you have not yet done so, please help me out. Go over to YouTube, hit that like button, get a little extra yardage out of this thing, and also, I would imagine if you made it to 1 hour 23 minutes, you're enjoying the show. So if you're on Apple or wherever it is that you're listening to, please head over and rate this bad boy, even if it's just giving it 5 stars. I love it if you write a comment. I like reading those. So it's also always a good time. Last question for you, Hank, and we didn't even touch the service a lot. I'm going to have you on again. I know I am. Also, tomorrow,
I'm always happy to hang.
If you're on the lake tomorrow and you're catching some donks, send me some photos.
Okay.
Likewise, it'll be fun. We'll go back and forth. But what is on the docket for you? What do you have? What's next for BassGeek? Any new projects? Any tournaments? Any collabs we should be looking out for?
Not right now, man. I'm just trying to gather everything back up. Just because, again, we went to ICAST in July, and then we went on vacation in August. So right now, the biggest thing is just get out and get some content and get some stuff ready to go, because I've got nothing in the can right now. So, just fishing, man. I found a little something. I fish for a lot of smallmouth during the winter time down here, and I found a little something that, like you said, Seth, nuggets, man, and even old school nuggets. This was something that I remembered from a Lender's Angling Edge, talking about big fish and how they sun themselves, and how during the wintertime they're already starting to, create those eggs. And so those females like to get out and suspend up, and, that was kind of a jerk bait sort of deal. But, man, I found something last year that I didn't see anybody else fishing. And it took me a minute because they were a little, they were picky. But once I got that dialed in, I was like, oh. And then, of course, I didn't get to come back and do it again for until after it was over. But so there's certain things I'm looking forward to. And, of course, I'll share that with everybody. But
only if you watch his videos, by the way. He's not sharing it right now.
That's right.
Yeah. Get over there and subscribe to BassGeek.
Because I don't want anybody in my area seeing this and running out there and doing it before I get the fun out of it.
You're almost to a silver play button, aren't you, Hank?
I'm close. We're closing in. We are at 89.
89.4.
Yeah.
So in Q1, you could be silver play button land.
I hope so. We were rolling, and then of course the channel got hacked. They put up a fake Elon Musk live stream selling some Bitcoin. But I have to say, man, shout out to YouTube. I was in YouTube purgatory for a little while. They wouldn't push nothing, wouldn't do nothing. But we got it back, and then had another hack attempt. Like 2 months later, we finally started rolling again. and then went right back into YouTube jail for a little bit. So we're still trying to just all you can do, man, is pump out content. So
yeah,
throw the noodles against the wall and hope some of them stick.
Well, maybe one of these days when I start heading down south, I'm coming down for the Nationals down on Guntersville. Maybe on the way there and the way back, we get on the water together. Have a good time.
Yeah, man. That'd be great.
Maybe by then you might have your river yak, and we might go on a float.
Yeah, that would be
now
fun.
We're talking.
That'd be fun. I'll tell you what, especially if you're coming down that way, we could meet down that way, and I'd take you out on a river down there up above Douglas, where you can catch some. Now, see, you wouldn't be impressed by these southern smallmouth down here, but still fun in the river to go catch them.
I love me some smallmouth fishing. That's for damn.
So, what you said, you went up to Erie just earlier. That's like bucket list stuff to me.
Yeah, I need to get up there more often when the smallmouth are running shallow, and so I'm going to get on that. I could go up tomorrow morning and catch probably my 10 walleye. They're shallow right now.
There ain't nothing better eating than a walleye. Nothing.
All right. Well, folks, I appreciate you listening to the KFO show, and special shout out to the show sponsor, Dark Horse Tackle. I know I talk about them a lot. I use their stuff. I know that Seth uses and has had a lot of success with their boxes. So if you have yet to check them out, head over to darkhorsetackle.com. You can get a monthly subscription box. However, if that's not your thing, they just have a bait store. So you can go in there and kind of pick and choose a la carte what you like. The guys are awesome to work with. And, yeah, I'm just a big fan. So thank you so much there. But we'll have another guest. I have a guest for the next 2 months. Seth is like, I know. I have all the calendar invites that come to my inbox every single day. But we are literally packed for 2 months straight because I came back from my cast and I had the litany of individuals. So I'm excited about that. But Hank, we'll have to have you back on the show again for a wealth of knowledge. I know we didn't even scratch the surface, but thank you so much for your time. Thank you as well, Seth. And I'll see you next Tuesday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on the Kayak Fishing Obsessed podcast. Hey, you guys have a good one.